This is my quick review of Into the Fall by Tamara L. Miller. Since I have Amazon Prime, I was able to get this for free through Prime Reads. It's marketed as a mystery, thriller, suspense novel. So I decided to check it out. Have never heard of the author before, and honestly, I was pleasantly surprised. The book follows a story with the main character, Sarah, and her husband, Matthew. They go on a camping trip with their two children, and one night during the trip, Matthew goes missing. Sarah wakes up in the morning and's like, "Where is Matthew?" So the entire story is about the search for Matthew and the circumstances behind his disappearance. Did Matthew get lost? Is there something more to his disappearance? And did Sarah somehow, play a role in him going missing? And so I wouldn't really call this a thriller. It's more of a mystery to me because I didn't really feel on the edge of my seat or like there were cliffhangers or things like that, but I enjoyed the mystery. My goal for reading this book, I saw that it was 30 chapters and I said, I'm going to read this in 6 days. I said 5 chapters a day. I'll get it taken care of in 6 days. I read it in 3 because even though there weren't cliffhangers, I was so engaged in the mystery, and I just wanted to know what would happen, what was going to happen, and I read it in 3 days. I binge read it. I would get off work, go home, and just lay in bed and read, and it was a lot of fun. And at the end, I gave this a 4 out of 5 on Goodreads. Lots of things to like about this. I really enjoyed the message. This book also made me think a lot about life. I think that it had a deep message to tell. Things that I didn't like, I wasn't a big fan of some of the dialogue. It almost was like some characters had inside jokes, and with the writing, it didn't work for me. You had some characters that were kind of joking with each other as if they have a history, and the jokes just, or whatever they were doing, it didn't land. It sounded cheesy to me. So that's my only complaint. But like I said, the idea behind it and just the story itself and the themes and the messages, in the story really, really got me. So that's my non-spoiler review. And if you want to hear spoilers, or if you don't want to hear spoilers, you can just end this video now, but I'm going to go ahead and tell you some spoilers about this in 3, 2, 1. Okay. So, at the end, it turns out that it was all a mistake. Matthew disappears during this camping trip, and he truly gets lost and ends up dying out in the woods. He hits his head, and he goes out in his canoe, and he thinks that he can swim because he has a history of being a swimmer, and he has a wetsuit and everything. So he thinks that he can survive. He can swim back to his campsite. Like, there's just this whole kind of thing that goes down, but it turns out that Sarah actually took a screwdriver or some type of object and punched a bunch of holes in his wetsuit because it turns out that Matthew has another child that Sarah doesn't know about. He has been living a double life because he's changed his name. He's taken on a new identity because he wanted to get over his past life. It's just this whole thing. He has this whole, double life, and he has another daughter out there. And he also has a history of leaving. And I know that, me saying this, I'm just kind of throwing a lot of stuff out there. There's a lot of things going on, but when it comes down to it, basically, Matthew has a history of disappearing. So it's not his first time. He's been living a double life, and he's never told Sarah. He has a kid out there. He's changed his name, and Sarah suspects that he's lying or he's cheating on her, and he's gonna leave. And one night she gets angry and pokes holes in his wetsuit. Well, come to the camping trip, this thing happens. He bumps his head, and then he goes on his canoe, and then he's in his wetsuit, and it's got holes in it, and it's cold, and a storm comes, and it's like he gets lost and disoriented and just ends up dying. So there's a lot going on here, as you can see, but at the end of the day, what I really enjoyed as far as the message is that, like, sometimes things just happen. I think that one of the themes was the power of nature, because despite everything and despite, the relationships and everything, and Matthew's swimming ability and just all this stuff, he still does not survive because nature just takes hold. There's a storm. He is not able to survive in the elements. And it's all really a mistake, and it's a misunderstanding, because Matthew was going to tell Sarah about his daughter that he had been hiding from her. He was going to clear everything up. He was going to put an end to these mysterious disappearances and fix everything. But it's like Sarah didn't understand that and didn't know that. And, so another theme is kind of like lies, and how lies create misunderstandings and can lead to tragedy, despite your best intentions. And for me, I said, if Matthew would have cleared these things up earlier, none of this would have happened. But he kept secrets, he kept lies, and it led to his eventual death. And the kids play into the story, because you'll find out once you read, but at the end of the book, it really is all kind of a misunderstanding. And I felt to myself like, it's just a bad situation. It's not like, because I don't think all the characters are innocent. Sarah is a flawed character as well. And so for things to just go down like this, it's like bittersweet, I guess, and kind of sad. But at the same time, there is a lesson to be learned. And the title of the story, the book, is Into the Fall. And I think one of the reasons for that is because, it's going into the fall of this relationship, but also the story, takes place, I think, like kind of during the late fall, winterish of one year, and then it ends in the fall of the next year. So that's kind of where Into the Fall comes from. But this review went on a little longer than I wanted it to. I don't normally do reviews. I normally post teaching videos, but I do believe that readers are leaders. And for me, I do hope to be an education leader. And so I read a lot of books. I try to learn different perspectives and just get ideas and things like that. So I encourage you, especially if you are a teacher, go ahead and start reading. Into the Fall is a great read. It was only 250 pages when I looked on Amazon, which is a very short novel. I think that's why I was able to get through it so fast. But anyways, 4 out of 5. Definitely check it out. Into the Fall by Tamara L. Miller. Thank you for watching this video. Make sure that you like this video, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. And that's all I have for you this time. See you later.